Now time for the big interview. My guest for this morning is one brilliant man. Now, when it comes to maths and science, he tops it all. Hence, he has the name Computer added to him. And he is Dr. Sofo Tanko Rashid Computer. He is currently the acting CEO of GIFEC and also the Deputy National Director of Elections and IT for the NDC, and he's seated right next to me. Good morning, Dr. Tanko.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm terrific.
Great.
Yes.
Which of the names you prefer? Tanko, Computer, Rashid? Which one?
Tanko Computer.
You know, earlier I was asking you a question. Everybody asked. Is Computer your real name?
Yes. Computer is my real name. I had several times explained it, and then it kept on coming, because it's unusual to see somebody called Computer.
Exactly.
Yes. Actually, it came as a result of my knowledge in sciences and maths at the lower level. I would say God was so charitable to me in terms of talent in those areas at the maths and science at the very earliest stage of my life.
It looks like people are messaging you a lot. Tell them you're on TV.
Yeah, it was an area that I would not blink an eye when it comes to answering questions on it. If you do and take my JSS papers and LSS, you will see that I've always either 98, 99, or 100 in those areas. Where the earliest, we used to call as rollist students, were the first batch of the JSS program that was started. And then at that village where I came from Bimbila, in northern region. I agree that I was born and bred in Bimbila. I started my primary school in Bimbila, Jilo Primary School, then proceeded to Wulensi. So I'm from two towns, Wulensi, which is just next to Bimbila. The JSS over there, from such a rural area, when we wrote the exams, I got distinction, aggregate 7. At that time. So, in fact, the headmaster took me on his shoulder and was parading me around the village. Because the whole district, nobody could get distinction. But that village, this young man got distinction. In fact, I should have gotten 6 but I got English, I got 2. So that made me to get 7.
Did you have access to teachers?
Yeah, at that time, we had these national service people who used to come and teach us in Wulensi JSS. I remember one from Tema. He was very brilliant. The gentleman was very good. And one from Wale, one man, Mr. Guma. I still remember them. He was teaching us Greek science and all these things. So, in fact, our headmaster, Mr. Asulanti, may he rest in perfect peace. He did a lot for me. At that time, for instance, I lost my parents at a very early age. And so...
How old were you?
At that time, I think I was just 6. Yes, when I lost them. And so I picked up. I realized that it was through education that I could survive. And the man picked me up because he saw the talent in me.
Right.
And then so I didn't, in fact, disappoint him when I got distinction. The whole district, nobody could get it. And then so my name came up there. And I got this thing, admission in top schools across the region. But that time I didn't have the money to go. So I had to make do with Bimbila Secondary School, which is my village school. So I attended Bimbila Secondary School at that early age. That's how I got the name Computer coming from, because, at that time they had just moved the secondary school education from 5 years to 3 years. And then we were to do the first 3 years. And then unfortunately, when we entered the first year, I had a terrible disease that bogged me down for well over almost 12 months. I was bedridden. Well, we do have some traditional diseases in our area.
So it was
spiritual, something like that, on my leg. So I was down for almost a year, from February.
Do you know who did that to you?
How can you tell at that time? A very young man like that, and then busy doing this. So we had these 2 VSOs who were teaching us. One was teaching English, the other was teaching mathematics.
The whole school, you had 2 teachers?
No, I meant VSO. They were voluntary service overseas. They came from UK. In fact, they used to come those days to come and teach in the rural areas. They were wise, welcome to teach English and maths. And then one Madam Catherine, she was handling that mathematics because she could slangs and other things. My colleagues could not get what she was doing. I was the only person who could understand what she was doing. And then so when I got the disease and I was in the house, I got a friend who was always bringing me notes. When they finish classes, he'll come home, I'll be on the bed, I'll take the notes and I'll copy the notes and be reading whilst on bed. So when we were to write the end of year exams, the headmaster insisted they should allow me to write. So I was picking on a bicycle, always, every day, to go and then sit for the exams. Although I didn't attend classes for a whole year, but I was able to write the exams. And I came up tops.
Huh?
Yes, I came up top. I beat everybody in the class. That's how the computer came.
So wait, you're always studying. Are you that kind of person that you're always studying, or it just comes to you naturally?
No, I study. When I pick a document and I read it once, forget it. When you ask me, even 100 years time, I will repeat everything for you.
So you were...
It's just nice. I was just born like that. It's gifted. We have that thing. I was gifted.
Okay.
It's like, because I would say God was very charitable to me, because I lost the parents at that very tender age. I had this thing in me that when I pick a document, I read it, it just sticks.
Wow.
And then so the maths paper on that day, I got 98 over 100, and the second person came. Yes, and the second person got 57. I still remember that. So that's where the woman said, "This is a computer man." I didn't even know what computer was at that time, at that village. So they started calling me the computer from those areas. Maths was my baby.
So now you write the name computer.
Yes, I had to gazette it along. I gazette it. It's properly gazetted, and then I added to my names, and it has taken over because actually a lot of people don't know my real name as Rashid. They know me computer. So if I mention Rashid, people find it difficult. Who is that?
Yeah.
Even my bosses sometimes didn't know that his real name is Tanko Rashid.
Right.
They know me as computer. If you go to the party quarters across the country and you mention you are looking for Tanko Rashid, they say, "Who is that man?" But mention computer and it's like Wi-Fi. So it's all over the place.
What brought you to Accra though?
Yes, so that is how after my school days, I left secondary school and then went to teacher training college. In fact, you see, I don't know the time you have. I would have walked you through my academic distinct processes. When I finished secondary school, God was being very charitable to me. We were 103 of us who sat for the first exams. Only 2 of us passed. Myself and a young lady. She was lucky to have passed because she was seated by me.
So you helped her?
Something like that in a way. Okay. Something like that. And I could, at that time, would have been in the university, but because of financial problems, I had to make do with teacher training college at that time, just to help myself. At least at that time, we had this teacher, the stipends coming. So I went to teacher training and became a teacher, a professional teacher at that time. And I was so lucky because I won an award in the teacher training career as one of the best students. At that time, we didn't have enough teachers to teach secondary schools. But at training college, when you finish, you were supposed to go to GSS or primary school, not secondary school. Because secondary school was meant for graduates and diploma holders and all that. We were doing set A. But the wisdom of Ghana Education Service then, looking at this young man, his talent, we can't send him to GSS. So I was sent straight to a secondary school to teach.
Oh, wow.
That's why people don't know.
Wow.
The computer started a long time ago.
Okay.
I was sent to secondary school from training college set A straight to secondary school to teach. So I didn't teach at lower level.
And you were still in Bimbila?
I was back to Bimbila. By that time, I was in Tamale Training College.
Okay.
Tatco, we used to call it Tatco. It's now Tasi. So I attended Tatco. When I finished, then I was sent back to Bimbila Secondary School to teach. So whilst there, I said, no, I have to get to university. I mean, to have a degree. Because my colleagues, teachers there, I would say they were worried me because I was set A holder and they were a diploma, some degree. So it's like they were looking down upon the certificate I was holding.
So that's what motivated you?
It motivated me to go to university. I said, no, I have to go to university. I will not allow these people to be worrying me like that. So I went to, even when I was going to Winneba for it, they were making fun of it. That, look, you go and fail. You think it's for jokers. When you go and sit for the entrance exam, some of us went 3 times, we couldn't even pass. You just came in. I said, you don't worry. The reason they call me computer, you see. And when I went for the entrance exams in Winneba for my degree program, where were about 500 of us, I came 10th. And I still have that record there.
Right.
In Winneba. first entrance exams,
first
I
entrance.
blew the thing. And my headmaster, who was then in Bimbla Secondary School, Garba, may he rest in perfect peace. He was so happy. He said, this is my boy. I know him, he's going to do this thing. You see, that time, my zeal, education was my passion.
Right, you'd like to learn.
I just like to learn. I like
Is it
reading.
always passing? That's
Yes, not that. I feel I was interested in reading.
Okay.
For me, I just read and I study a lot.
Okay.
And so that was my passion. And so when I go in for exams, even when we sit together and the paper is 3 hours, be sure that I'll do 1 hour. I won't do 3 hours, and I'll beat all of you.
Oh, wow.
God give me that talent.
So
my colleagues will tell you, they will testify to that.
The doctor title is a medical doctor.
Yes, that's why I'm coming through.
Ah.
So when I finished Winneba and education, I did B.Ed, Bachelor of Education, Art Education. I was sent back to Tamale again to teach in Tamale Training College. While my colleagues were sent to primary and JSS, and I was sent to training college, teacher training college to teach because of the experience and then all that. I taught in the training college, training teachers for almost 10 years. And then Cape Coast University took me as an assistant examiner to examine their students, their distance education and all. So I used to drive all the way from Tamale to Solpong. Can you imagine the distance? To mark scripts of university students and all that. And then I then went to KUST to do my master's, public administration. Right. And at KUST, that was 2010 to 2012. By that time, I'd left classroom. Okay. And because we had come to power, we won 2008 election. I was in the forefront. I won't start my political career, but I just wanted to see that. And then after KUST, when I got the master's degree in 2015, I then enrolled to Kingston University. Okay. It's an online university, delivering mode, everything online, for my PhD in public administration. Graduated in 2016. And then fortunately, at the time I even graduated, I got a job with YE again. That's Youth Employment Agency. I was employed in 2016 at that time. Then 2017, we lost power. In fact, we lost power in 2016. Fortunately, the incoming government, they look around and realize that the gentleman was doing his job. I mean, he's a professional, he's employed properly, public service and all that. So my appointment was not terminated. I worked for 8 years under the MPP administration as a deputy director. In fact, I was promoted as a deputy director, public service, under YE. Then until we came back again in 2025, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama saw the wisdom to appoint me as a acting CEO of GFEC. So I had to go on a leave. You know, in public service, when you are leaving your mother institution, you go and leave for 2 years and then take up the role. So I had to leave YE February 2025 this year in order to take up the new mandate. So that has been my educational ladder and where I came from. Unfortunately, because I lived most of my life in North, because all my activities was in northern region and all that, a lot of people didn't know much about me until when I came up to Accra, when the National saw the wisdom in appointing me as a deputy director of elections.
I'll go into that, please. Let me, because of time, I need to get all my answers this morning. How did you get into politics?
Good. That's another interesting thing. You see, I entered politics at a very young stage. Okay. You know, when the PNDC came in, at the later part, there was a body formed known as DYLG, Democratic Youth League of Ghana. It was a wing of the PNDC. I mean, it was a young wing of the PNDC, which was meant to support the Keda Corps and all that. We were drafted into it. I was very young at that time. Okay. But my zeal and passion for Rollies was very high. Okay. So
love of
Rollies, I mean, at that time. So we were with them, I mean, the DYLG, we got a lot of training and all that. And then, so the 1992 referendum that the Constitution came in. In fact, we're given, how did they call it? Our voter ID card was papers, small paper. You go there, write your name on it and tear it for This has happened in Ghana before, 1992. And so we young guys were being asked to go around and educate our rural folks. Okay. The need for them to vote yes for the Constitution.
Ah.
So we started going around and telling them, we are now coming to democracy, you have your rights, you can vote, you decide who you want and all that. So we started it around that time. And then so when NDC came in, we eventually joined them. I was at the Cape Coast grounds in 1992 when the party went to Congress and Rawlings came in. In fact, actually, we didn't even know that he was coming until when he arrived and stood up on the distance. Come and see the chairs over there, the park, Victoria Park. I still remember.
Right.
1992. So I started at that early stage.
So, and this, how old were you at that time?
At that time, I would say I was around 19, 20. So I'm very young guy. Very quite
now you
young.
come to Accra and they give you a big position like this.
No, before that, I started as a election officer in 1996.
Okay.
When Dr. Ibn Chambers was then our candidate, Bimbilla constituency, I was then the counting agent for the NDC in that constituency. So my election business started around that time, 1996. Unfortunately, we lost the seats.
Okay.
We came back strongly again in 2000, and I was at the counting agent. Counting agent means you were like the election officer for the party. And we won the election in 2000. Elections, Chambers went back to Parliament. Then I now moved from Bimbilla to the regional. After that, because I had gone to Winneba for my degree and all that, at Winneba, I was then the teen propaganda. At that time, we had propaganda. We didn't have communication. We used to call it propaganda. The teen, we were the pioneers and those things. So I was the teen propaganda secretary for Winneba, this in Central Region, for teen, the whole distance. We were working closely with Castle and all that. I remember one Professor Chumesi, he was coordinating us. May he rest in perfect peace. So from there to Northern Region back as a treasurer for the party, I became regional treasurer of the NDC, Northern Region. For 12 years, nobody could beat me in election. If you go, I'll beat you. The people knew what I could do. And then we were the pioneers of election directorate for the NDC. In fact, as of 2004, I was just with our former chairman, Dr. Potofi. We started doing something about election directorate, just to put up an election directorate for the party.
Okay.
I remember those days, what we were doing and all that. So there, I was now adding treasury work and the election directory work. So I was running the two together. This before I now brought to Northern Accra as a listing.
Appointment wasn't new.
Yes, I have done the work of election directorate for a very long time.
All right.
Until National saw the reason that I should come and join the National.
Now you joined National. Was there a strategy you guys used to win? Because even before, we had Electoral Commission bringing out the numbers, it looked as though the NDC had tabulated theirs and were giving out the numbers. So what was the strategy?
Well, you see, the NDC learned its lessons from previous elections. We learned our lessons from the 2016 election and the 2020 elections. The 2020 election was massively rigged. And they rigged the election.
The 2020?
The 2020. In fact, they rigged the election. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama should have been the president of 2020 elections. Clearly, the NPP rigged the election with the connivance of the Electoral Commission.
How did they?
We saw the figures was very clear. You saw why Madame Jean Mercer didn't want to enter the docket.
No, but the question is, how did they rig the election?
Yes, see, Ghana, because of our manual nature of elections, we do elections manually. Everything we do is about manual processes. Now, when you have a very crooked officers as presiding officers and returning officers, they will rig the elections at your blind side.
So to the NDC, the NPP rigged it.
They rigged the 2020 election, and that's why...
So that's what the NDC thought.
Yes, so we learned our lesson from it and said, no, because maybe there was a laxity in monitoring the process. So we up our game in the 2024.
Okay, so...
By making sure it's for...
The NDC felt that the elections were rigged.
Yes.
So coming into 2024, you came in stronger.
We came in stronger to make sure that we monitor the Electoral Commission and the NPP. In fact, we had two opponents that were going to fight in the elections.
Okay.
The first opponent was Electoral Commission, and the second opponent was NPP. NPP was not even a party for us to blink an eye on, because we knew that our party was just a disorganized party. They were being held by the EC. So we knew. And that is why you saw us having problem with them over the register.
Okay.
Because the moment a register, you have a very bad register, forget of the general election. You rig the election from the register.
Okay.
And then so we saw it coming. From the registration center to the numbers putting together, everything was faulty. We've never seen an electoral commission which figures were so bad in terms of registering people and putting figures together. They were always getting it wrong.
So was it corrected before the elections?
We forced them to correct it until last minute. You remember there was an episode we had to pull each other to midnight. That night, all your cameras were there. Nobody could sleep. And we're saying over our dead body, we're not going to accept a register of that nature.
Okay.
Because we knew that these people had planned to rig the election using fake figures and all that. And we managed to stop them. Thankfully, we have a leader, Dr. Omani Boama. Let me use this opportunity to thank him. He gave us, in fact, one of the best leadership that I've ever seen in terms of managing elections and all that. He knew what we were looking for, and he gave us the direction, and we're following the direction.
Okay.
And that worked. That's the leadership.
What's the direction?
And that's from the direction is about leadership.
Okay.
You see, the national chairman, General Mosquito, the general secretary, Fifi Tuiti, gave us proper leadership as directorate.
Okay.
Because they believe, we gave them.
Leadership. Somebody at home will be wondering, what's proper leadership?
You see, when we talk of leadership.
Is it money?
It's not money. The person you present your proposals, your programs and other things, the person looked through it and bought into it and said, what you are doing, go ahead, I support you.
Okay, so how...
I'm not going to interfere in whatever you are doing.
Right.
I want resource.
Fantastic. How did the NDC get the numbers to give to Ghanaians before even EC was giving out these numbers?
Good. You see, people were not following my interviews. If you look at my interview during the 2024 campaigns and other things, even your station here, I used to tell them that we're going to beat NPP over 54%. And they were laughing. Anytime I say we're going to beat NPP over 54%, they will laugh and say, at this trend, you are still talking of 54. When even people cannot get 51%, you are talking of 55. So you watch it. We have studied you people and know you have been rigging election. NPP, if you cross 41% or 40%, you have tried. Because we know what you have been doing over the years. And this election, Ghanaians, by their nature, they don't like NPP. Ghanaians, by their nature, they don't like NPP at all. From 1972, I've studied them.
You can't say that for a fact.
No, it's a fact. It's a fact.
We're voted into power.
No. You see, you know why I'm saying that they don't like them.
You are saying, but it doesn't mean it's so.
It's a fact.
For the NPP to come to power, not just once.
They rigged the elections to always get back to office.
President Kufuor, it was rigged?
Yes. 2004.
It was rigged?
And people died.
How did the opposition rig the election at that time?
2004, they were not in opposition, but they were in power. They came to power in 2000.
2000?
So you see how the 2000...
How did they rig it?
Good. The 2000, they got it.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
This time they didn't rig it.
Rawlings was not on the paper.
Okay.
Rawlings was not on the ballot paper. Rawlings was exiting after 11 years of military rule and then 8 years of democracy.
Yeah.
The young people who came in to vote at that time didn't know any government. They only knew Rawlings.
Okay.
Now, Rawlings was not on the ballot paper. We had brought in Professor Mills. So you remember that slogan at that time. And they were having a song, we need a man to change Mother Ghana. That song went down with the Gen Zs at that time. In fact, now they are old men, they are no more Gen Z, those people. And they voted us out in 2000. When they came in, didn't they see their colors? The colors they hit from 1972 when Achampong sacked them. They managed for 30 years hiding behind the scene. So as soon as they came in 2000, they showed their colors. This problem we are having in Ghana started in 2001.
Which problem?
Monetize our democracy. It started from them. They brought this matter. Most of our young guys who were with the Rawlings regime to the NDC 1, NDC 2, never knew that you need money to go and do campaigns. Or you need money to go and put poster. They don't do that. Well, it's service to the people, service to the nation. These people came and introduced moneycracy, putting money in people's pocket and sharing money nyafu all over the place.
But Ghanaians still voted for them in
2004. Do you know how the election was declared? Jacob Echebilamtime, he rests in perfect peace. He was a very good man in branding. Sat at Castle and declared themselves winners before even Afarijan could declare the results. When people started to demonstrate, they killed some people in Tamale. I was there. They chased all of it. I went on a bongo car to run away from Tamale to my village because they were looking for me. At that time, culture of silence. They cow people in and got themselves declared 2004.
Dr. Tanko, it's quite interesting you're saying this because if we take ourselves into the year 2012, right?
Yes.
Yes, good. Now, the NPP also said that you rigged the elections during that time.
We didn't rig any election. They went to court with. with us.
When it came to the NDCs, we didn't.
I'm saying no. But they said they went to court.
Quite interesting, isn't it?
They went to court, and we're talking about unknown polling station. How can you go to election with unknown polling station?
But you also,
that tells you that MPP didn't even know what.
In 2020?
We didn't say unknown polling stations.
Okay.
We knew all the polling stations. We knew the number of polling they were going. And they were saying that they said unknown polling. How can you go and conduct or contest an election? You don't know a polling station or contest an election.
Tanko, they also said you didn't have your pink.
I'm saying that. Which one?
When you went to
2021, when we went to court with them, it was not about pink sheets. That's where they are making mistake. It wasn't about pink sheet.
Okay.
It was about the declaration so made and the processes used in doing the declaration. The Supreme Court judges said, Madam should not be cross-examined. The person who declared the results, they say she should. Up to now, do you know the reason why? The pink sheet, I would have brought one here if I knew you were going to ask. The pink sheets they used was different from the one in CI 127.
Okay.
And so our lawyers wanted her to be in the docket. And they'll show one to her. Look at this pink sheet and open CI 127 and show us whether the pink sheet you used for the election is the one put in the law there. They knew.
All right, so
they ran away from it. That's why I said after rigging the election with bad pink sheets and other things, they got away with it. They tried to do that in 2004 over our dead body. Okay. And that's why we gave them 38%. They should keep 38%.
All right. So how did you get your numbers then?
Yes, that is a strategy I'm telling you, because we had a very good plan. We had our team together. We had good direction, leadership, and we had professionals who supported us across the country because everybody was tired with the MPP. And then so we were matching them boot for boot. When we activated the body cameras, up to now they don't even understand the meaning of that body camera. We won't tell them because we will have another camera to activate come 2028. You see, we knew what we were doing.
What shows the NDC want to rig elections in 2028?
No, 2028. Did we rig this election to get 57+%? No. Ghanaians, I was giving you an antecedents of these people. Ghanaians, by their nature, they don't like MPP.
Okay.
Because they are the way they governed.
If you...
It's the type they don't want.
If you say this, I just want to ask you these fair questions. In 2000, when the NPP came to power, they didn't rig elections from your...
No, I told you that, yes, they came in because of the changes that was brewing.
Amazing.
And even the support they got from the other smaller parties to push us out.
Good.
That's how they... And you know, they even pushed in the second round, not even first round.
2016, the NPP came to power. Did they rig elections?
2016?
Yes.
I'll tell you. You see... NPP, they are very crooked in terms of handling electoral matters. Did you hear what the Director of Electoral Services at that time, now Deputy Commissioner of Elections, Tete, in their last press conference, when we hit them hard about the register, he said in 2016, the register was made up of what? Trees, animals, and other things. Is that not what he said? He said they did a press conference. I didn't know whether he didn't see the synopsis before reading those things. Who put the register together? Wasn't it the Electoral Commission? Tete was the Director of Electoral Services at that time. Yet, as soon as they came to power, they made him a commissioner.
But who was the head of EC at that time? 2016?
Is it not Charlotte?
Good.
And they came and sacked Charlotte.
So are you saying that in 2016, when Charlotte was saying the head of EC, the NPP was able to rig elections?
I'm giving you something. I'm saying that when they came, and the gentleman who read that press conference was the Director of Electoral Services, directly in charge of putting the register together and all that. And yet, the people came and made him a commissioner. Use your guess. What does that mean? So
it says Charlotte Osei is incompetent. Indirectly, that's what you're
not saying. Incompetent.
Okay.
I'm saying that, you see, that's why we have commissioners.
Directly.
Do you know? No, you cannot say that because the woman was fantastic at doing what she was doing.
Did you see this?
No, I'm saying that she was fantastic in doing whatever she needed to do at that time. And interestingly enough, they introduced something. They tried to introduce electronic transmission at that time. And I told them that was the nemesis of the Electoral Commission at that time. Because per our electoral system, we don't do electronic transmission.
Okay.
So when they tried to do that, by incorporating electronic transmission into their system, they had a problem. You remember it had to travel to 72 hours. And they even came out and announced that they had problem with the electronic transmission thing. That was the nemesis of shall I say, she shouldn't have used that. But that was a good plan to try to test the systems to see whether we could migrate from the manual system to the electronic. But our electoral system doesn't allow that. And I'm saying that the one who was directly in charge of electoral services at the Electoral Commission got promoted under MPP as soon as they came to power.
You also got promoted under MPP when you were YEA.
Yes.
Yes.
I was a public servant. I was working as a public service officer. And they came in, checked my, said, do you know that they did 3 audit on my documentation just to find a way of terminating my appointment because I was on them. But they found nothing.
Nothing. Now, there's a young man on social media. His name is Obama Pokwasi. He's been, I know you've heard about him because he's been championing a certain cause, saying that your PhD is questionable, is it?
So his government was in power for 8 years. And at that time, was he sleeping or he was in Jamaica? He didn't know this. And I worked under them for 8 years. You see, I don't respond to idiots. That's why I don't know him. That's how I am. Because, you see, I'm a lecturer. I've taught students for a very long time. Matters like this, when you give them attention, they can... No, you see, you must... I respect people a lot. You see, my students have started responding to them. I cannot respond to people like that.
No. As citizens, when people raise these allegations, it's up to you. No, Dr. Tanko, it's up to you to let Ghanaians know that, listen, what this guy is saying is false. And so you can even sue him. You know that for defamation. So why you just say it in public and let everybody know on Joy Prime that your doctor or your PhD certificate is credible?
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. After running you through all these processes.
I know you are credible.
So I'm coming. So why do you give credibility to idiots? In Ghana, we must call a shovel a shovel.
No.
And not a long spoon. I mean, my problem, that's why they say I'm a hard guy. I'll tell you as it is.
It's good to be.
Me, I don't, when I'm lecturing, one of my students told them, you don't know this man. He would drive from campaign platform to classroom to lecture and go back to campaign platform. My students have never failed. Go back to my lesson. I will get 100%. That's why even when I was lecturing in Tatco, they tried to sack me because I was doing campaign plenty. They went, my principal told them, be careful, it's my best year. And I'm saying that I don't give credibility to people like that.
Fantastic.
Attention to people like that.
So this morning we are not going to give credibility to these people. We are not going to give attention to these people, but we are going to state the university that gave you the PhD certificate. Which university is it?
Okay, it's no university. I said it. I haven't hidden it. It's there.
No university? Which university?
Kingsno University.
Kingsno.
Yes.
All right. Did you do online?
Yeah, it's an online. It's an online program.
Okay, and which year was this?
I told you, when I finished KUST 2012, I enrolled 2012 at the school, completed in 2016. At that time, you see, I think I have to go back to classroom one day to teach some people sense. In education, we have offline and online. Okay,
so you graduated in which year?
2016. 2016.
So you got your PhD
as far as 2016.
Fantastic.
Yes. So I'm saying that during the COVID era, do you know that tutorials was done online?
Oh, people know. A lot
of them. Do you know that?
Yeah, a lot.
So do you go and tell them that what they did?
Don't worry at all.
So that's why I say, so you see my word of idiots. When I use idiots, they say I insult them. I'm not insulting them. I'm just, it's a word in the
So what do you do to relax, though? What do you do to relax? Do you like gospel music?
The type of music I like, if I say you India.
What? India? You like Indian music?
The best.
Really? Who's your favorite Indian artist?
India music.
So sing one for me.
I like India music.
Sing one for me.
If I sing, will you understand?
Yes, sing it. Sing it.
If I sing, you won't understand.
Sing it.
You see, I'll tell you why I like Hindi music.
I have to wrap up. So you sing it and let
Hindi.
me go. Yes, sing it and let me go.
I want to see one of my best. Ek pyar ka nagma hai.
What's the meaning?
Okay, so you see,
unfortunately, this all time will permit us from this interview.
There is a laugh in this song.
Okay, all right.
It's a laugh song.
It's a laugh song.
Pyar means laugh in Hindi. When you say pyar, laugh.
Love. All right.
So when you say ek pyar one laugh song.
Okay, And his name is Dr. Tanko Computer. He's the acting CEO for GIFEC, and he was our big interview guest. My name is Rosalie Felly. This is all time will permit us. Enjoy the rest of your day. But don't forget, today being a Wednesday, we have changes that'll come your way at 1 p.m. Bye.